Madam Chair, I'm present.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Opa-locka Charter Review Board. Today is June 27th, and the time now is 6:13. Mr. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Board Member Edmondson. Board Member Fenn.
Here.
Board Member Riley.
Here.
Board Vice Chair Williams
Present.
and Board Chair Russell.
Here, we're going to have ask Board Member Finn if she would give us an invocation, and then we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance. So would you stand, please? Since today is your birthday, you get the honors.
Will we all bow our heads? Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you today and we ask that we bless each and every person that is here on the diocese. Bless that our hearts and minds blend together to make the right decisions, to have a great discussion, and to do what's best for our city. Bless everyone as they travel safely to and from this meeting, and those that are all involved in this meeting. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I
pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, as I said, we welcome everyone, and we would just like to acknowledge our board member Riley, and he's been out for a couple of meetings, but we're so grateful to have you and the wealth of knowledge that you bring to this board. Board member Riley, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Mr. Clerk, do we have any additions, changes, or deletions?
Not at this time.
Okay, can I get someone to move the approval of the minutes from the June 2nd meeting?
Moved.
Second.
Moved and second, moved by Board Vice Chair Williams, second by Board Member Riley.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
on page 15 of 26 of the minutes, I think that there's a typo. Or when Ms. Dorothy Johnson spoke 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines down,
yes,
it says that she recalled that she came onto the city commission in 2022
oh,
when
yes.
the city was under financial emergency. That can't be. I don't think she said that.
I think it was, it should have been 2000, maybe 2000 and, no, it had to be before then. But Mr. Clerk, can you please check that?
We will
And
get it
make sure
corrected.
that that correction is put in the minutes?
Absolutely, we'll get it corrected.
Okay, with that correction being noted in the minutes on page 15 of the minutes of the June 2nd meeting, and the 5th line, the correction of the year from 2022 needs to be corrected. If there, okay, if there be no other corrections, roll call.
Board Member Fenn. Board Member Riley.
Yes.
Board Vice Chair Williams.
Yes.
Board Chair Russell.
Yes,
Minutes are passed 4-0.
okay. We're gonna open up the meeting for public input. Public input is now open. Mr. IT, is there anyone online? There's no one online. Mr. Clerk, did anyone call in?
There has been nobody who has registered to speak before the board today.
Okay, all righty. There being no public input, we are gonna close. Public input is now closed. So we'll move right into this discussion on recommendations for the charter amendment. And Madam Attorney, if you would read that into the record, please.
Madam Chair, this is not a, it's not something you're necessarily voting on. This is, until you, this is an ordinance for the city commission that would go before the city commission. And so I put it here so that you would be able to see the draft. Now, you can take a vote to see whether this is conceptually what you wanted to approve, but this is not actually the item from here. It's the item that would be going. I wanted you all to see what you were approving based on your last vote at the last commission meeting of what you wanted to see. This is essentially what you said you wanted to see. So
Okay.
I can go through it if you'd like and explain it.
If you can.
Yes, ma'am. So this is basically a referendum question that would go for the voter, before the voters. It has the correct number of words in it as required by statute. And essentially what you all did, as I understand it, was the mayor and commission members would receive an increase in the compensation from $550 a month to $1,000 a month. And they would also receive life insurance and a $300 monthly vehicle stipend for the mayor and each city commissioner. And so this is reflected not only in the title, but throughout the document. And you can see on page, giving your ballot question page, your ballot question will appear on page 23 of, I'm sorry, 22 of 26. And you'll see the, where it has the ballot summary, that's the question, and then it has yes or no. And essentially it's, shall the city of Opa-locka's charter be amended to increase compensation for the mayor and commissioners from $550 per month to $1,000 per month? Further, the mayor and commissioners, shall the charter be amended to provide for life insurance for the mayor and commissioners and provide for a $300 monthly vehicle stipend for the mayor and commissioners with all provisions, if approved, to become effective 30 days following the conclusion of any state financial oversight. So that's the question based on you all's discussion. And so you've already voted for this, and this is just showing you what it would look like.
Okay,
Madam,
thank you, Madam Attorney. Board Member Riley,
thank you, Madam Attorney. I think it's section 6 of the county's charter. If we, this is an ordinance that you're indicating, it shouldn't it be a resolution?
No, sir, the chart, there are, I know that they've done that in the past, but that's been done wrong because your ordinances, code of ordinances specifically says that you're supposed to do it by ordinance.
Okay. I'll review that, but I noticed all before. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah,
Thank
Joanna
you.
did point it out, but you've done it incorrectly before. So this is done pursuant to your code of ordinances, which requires an ordinance. Now, state statute says you can do it by resolution or ordinance, but your charter specifically says ordinance.
No, I was referring to section 6 of the Dade County Charter.
Okay, yeah, I'm not looking at that, but I was just going by what was required in your ordinance. But if it is different, then we can make the change appropriately, but.
oh,
Well, I just want us to realize now, Dade County is a home rule charter county. And the section F26 of subsection 11 of the Constitution stated that it's exclusive. Dade County is exclusive. And so.
We'll take a look at it, but I'm
Okay.
just going by your own ordinances. It says, I think it may.
Well, a
even
lot of
be- I
things
think it
we
may
have,
even
a
be
lot
your
of things
charter.
we have wrong, but I'm just saying is
Okay.
that the section 6 of the county's charter governs how we amend and do our charter.
Okay,
okay, excuse me, for clarification, Board Member Riley, explain to us what are you referring to?
Okay, just a moment, all right? I can't think of it. What's the,
You're not Munico?
Munico, yeah, Munico, Miami-Dade County Charter. And
Just not to
Okay.
take up time.
Yes.
If it needs to be changed, thank you for pointing it out. I'll make the change, but I'm going by your, your charter, which says it's to be done by ordinance. But if it needs to be changed because Miami-Dade County charter says something else, we'll take a look at it.
Okay, but
Right.
I'm trying to get clarification on, are we talking about the amendment that
we're not talking
amendment
about,
that
we're
we're
not talking about the
sending
amendment
to-
itself.
Yeah,
or
he's,
you're talking about the amendment itself?
Right.
what he's talking about is
Talking
whether
about
the
what-
format should be in the form of a
what the format
resolution
is.
or
Or you're
or
talking about,
an ordinance.
excuse, I'm trying to listen. He's talking and you're talking, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's on the format, Madam Chairman.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay.
It's not on the question. It's on
No.
the format on
Right.
which, okay.
Right.
That's what I was trying to get clarification on. I'm sorry, Madam Attorney. So if the format needs to be changed, the attorney says that she will make sure that that change is done. When it goes to the commission, Madam Attorney?
Excuse me, I was trying to plug my laptop in.
I saw.
Yeah, all of it has to go to the commission. So this board is an advisory board. And
Yes.
so the commission would have to approve the item that's in front of you.
Yes, so I'm asking that if the change, whatever if you need to make any changes, you will make the changes when it goes to the commission.
Before it goes to the commission.
Okay, all right. Okay. All righty. Well, we're clear. Anything else? Any questions, concerns? Board Member Riley, you wasn't here the last time we voted on this, but we know that you were in partial, if not all, agreement that something needed to be done for the commission as well. So I hope that we all as a board are in agreement, because once it goes before the voters, the voice that is going to be needed to make sure that it gets passed is our voice, along with telling our neighbors and friends the reason why we came to this conclusion. And I would also like to say to this board that I think that we have put a lot of hours and work into looking at it and coming up with this final decision. I don't think this is something that we just came to randomly. I think a lot of thought was given to it. So I hope that the residents and the voters of the city of Opa-locka as well agree with us that, we put time and effort into looking at this, taking into an account that the city is in financial oversight. And that's the purpose of us putting the clause in there that this would not take an effect until after the city is out of financial oversight. And I thank you, Madam Attorney. I see you put in there 30 days. So it gives a little bit of, I guess, a little grace period to make any adjustments financially that needs to be made. So thank you very much for that. So that's my spiel on it. Anyone else? All right, board members. Y'all ready to?
Madam Chair.
Yes, and also I think the clerk's office is asking us to be to the commission meeting. It's going to be on the agenda, and they would like for us to speak at the commission meeting concerning this. She asked me, but I would ask all of the board members if you all would please try to make it to that commission meeting so that we could show unity as far as this is concerned. Board Member Finn, I think I heard you.
Yes, ma'am. I am in agreement with this. Thank you, board members. I was not present last meeting, but I am in support of this. I know this is just a draft, but I did see where it says section 5 salary summary to become effective 30 days following the conclusion. I know it's missing the word days. Should it say days there? So we're clear. I know it's just a draft. Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Vice Chair.
I would like to pick up discussion from the last meeting in regards to changing the form of government to include the council manager, no, I believe it's mayor, council manager form of government. And ultimately, just to kind of recap, what we discussed was to outline duties of the mayor, ultimately is what would happen. So we would not be changing any of the duties of the manager or the council, but we would be looking to include a section that outlines the mayor's responsibilities. And the clerk was so gracious to do a little bit of research in terms of other city governments that are about the same size as ours. And I don't know if you all have it in front of you, but during the last meeting, the form of government that we looked at was the town of Miami Lakes. I don't know if you want to just take a look at that. The town of Miami Lakes, I believe. Yes, and we discussed maybe including 4 of the 5 points that is outlined in the town of Miami Lakes mayor responsibilities.
So were you looking for that to be on this referendum as well?
Yes.
Madam Attorney?
So that would be a different question. Right now, you all have a commission manager form of government where the commission basically sets the policy and the manager carries out, you hire a professional manager who carries out the policies. I'm not familiar with the town of Miami Lakes, but I can take a look at it. Were you looking just to outline? Now, this is not a strong mayor form of government, so normally each commissioner is equal to the mayor because it is not something that is, you don't have one person doing anything other than basically presiding over the meeting. So I can take a look at that, but it may not align with what you have right now as a commission manager form of government, which is.
Absolutely, I'm happy to respond to that. So we're not looking to move to a strong mayor form of government. What we're looking to do is ultimately so we recognize that currently in our charter, it is a council manager format. And so what we're recommending we do is the mayor council manager format, and we would outline the duties of the mayor. The clerk is passing out a document, so you can look in there and see what the town of Miami Lakes has recommended. And again, my recommendation is that we include 4 out of the 5 of those. And I don't have the document in front of me, so if you don't mind, I would love to share with you. We would be looking to include all of the points except for point 2.
Okay, so the first point is already in there and it has a specific section. Am I looking at that? Oh, Miami Gardens. Okay.
Believe it or not. Madam Attorney? Madam
Yes,
Chairman?
Okay,
while the,
so
Madam Attorney, you
yes,
was-
I was just going through it. Do you want me to finish or should I stop?
no,
May
I was recognizing you because Board Member Riley had began to talk, so
Okay.
I was recognizing you.
Oh, okay, very
I
good.
couldn't hear. I was trying to find out where she was and where we, because she had brought up this about the mayor, and I'm getting confused. I want to see if we're all on the same page. And I had a comment.
I'm on the page you all are on.
Huh?
I'm just trying to let you know what you have right now. So whatever you choose to present is what you choose to present. And I'm going to just give you the best information I can based on that. Now, in terms of the first thing that the mayor shall present, state of the town, in this case, it would be state of the city and budget addresses annually. Now, you know that the state of the city is done by the mayor, and that's already in the code of ordinances. The mayor, or it may be in the charter, I'll look, but the mayor may create, subject to the council approval, committees of the council, which may include
That's not
non-council-
included, Madam Attorney.
I'm sorry.
Let her finish. We'll let her finish and then we'll.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm looking at the Miami, town of Miami Lakes. This is
Yes.
what the board member
Uh-huh.
pointed out. So I'm just going through it to tell you all what you have in it right now that may or may not be covered. The next thing is the mayor may create, subject to council approval, committees of the council, which may include non-council members. Each member of the council, including the mayor, will have an equal number of appointments to committees of the council. The members of each committee shall select a chair. Now, right now, the way that it works is each member has an opportunity to create a council, and here it would allow the mayor, subject to council approval, to create committees, but it still kind of operates the same, because if it's subject to the approval, then everybody has to participate in it anyway. So, you know, that may be something you want to consider. And then the next thing is the mayor shall be recognized as the head of the town government for all ceremonial purposes, for purposes of military law and service of process. That is done anyway. That's even the case through Florida statutes, which is required. And then you said not, I think you said not the fourth one or not the fifth one?
It was not the second one.
Oh, not the second one. Okay. So so that's the charter. So the first one, we have the mayor already does a state of the city address, not necessarily dealing with, she can present, or he can present budget addresses, but there is a state of the city address that's done by the mayor in our code or charter. There is already the mayor being recognized as the head. The fourth thing, the mayor shall be the official designated to represent the town in all dealings with other governmental entities. That's standard. That's going to be, I'm pretty sure that's there, but let me find it for you and make sure. And then 5, execute contracts, deeds, and other documents on behalf of the town as authorized by the council. That's already something that's done. Most of the time, you know, it could be the clerk, it can be the manager. Some things, like some grants and certain things, require that the mayor is the designated person that authorizes it. Some grants require that is the chief operating officer or your city administrator. So I don't know if you necessarily want to change it, although, you know, because we do have procedures for executing authority. I'm just kind of throwing it out there because you know, if you already have things that address it and there's really not a need to address it, you may not want to just tinker with your charter just to tinker with it. You know what I mean? You all are, I'm assuming, looking to do things that are going to make a difference, going to be beneficial, going to change something for the better. And I don't know that any of these things necessarily address that, although you still could do it if you wanted to.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So I believe, well, so one, I don't believe that the first point is codified in the charter. So currently, perhaps it's in the ordinances and we don't have the ordinances, and I haven't read through that. But there is no reference to the mayor's responsibilities. It only references the council's responsibilities as a whole. And so what we would be looking to do is simply codify those things that the mayor are responsible for. It's helpful to hear you mention that on some level, some of this is happening already. So I guess the question becomes, are we operating in this way without it being codified in our charter currently? And I think it's worth a discussion, you know, amongst the board to determine if we would be interested in codifying it in our charter. And again, this kind of started with me looking at other forms of government, looking at City of Miami Gardens, you know, and again, we did some research to figure out other cities that were doing it. I appreciate your perspective, Madam Attorney. I would love to hear from the board your thoughts on this. I know we had a little bit of discussion last week or at our last meeting, but a couple of you all weren't here, so I would love to kind of, you know, bring this discussion back up and hear from everyone.
Board Member Riley?
Okay. The thing that the city attorney pointed out, we, under the Home Rule Powers Act for cities and towns, counties and et cetera in the state of Florida. And those cities and town that is located within a chartered county such as Miami-Dade County. Okay, for all intents purposes for the sole purpose of a mayor is to be recognized as the head of the city. The governor does that for political, it's the political head, okay? That's the head of the city. No ordinance, resolution, contracts, and et cetera on behalf of the city is valid until it's signed either by the mayor or the vice mayor. That is, that includes bonds. That's something Miami Lakes doesn't have there, but we also can issue bonds. They can either be generated by revenue bonds or ad valorem bonds, okay? But that is the way it is. In fact, I think the first bond that was issued in the city of Opa-locka in the past 35 years prior to 1986, was done by when I was mayor. So all of these things that are here, I had to do when I was mayor of Opa-locka. So it is there. It is not codified in our charter because it is, this is what the state recognizes from, the governor recognizes from. It is there. It's in the Florida statute. Okay.
Thank you, Board Member Riley. Board Member Finn, you weren't here last week. You have some input you would like to give, and also Board Member Edmondson, if you would like to give some input as well.
The only input that I have right now, you have a council manager type government. I will. It's on. What you want me to speak? Okay.
Commission manager, we don't have city council.
I don't know if you really want to get away from a professional manager. But that's coming from me. I'm here to just advise on the way you run the meeting, but what I'm looking at is you trying to get rid of a professional person in there and leaving it to the elected officials, which makes it very political. That's up to you all.
Yes.
Thank you for that. And I want to clarify, we are not interested in getting rid of a professional manager. I agree with you wholeheartedly that we need that. So that would continue to be the case.
Board Member Finn.
I also agree that we need to keep what we have, professional. But at the same time, many of these things that are written out in the town of Miami Lakes is already a standard practice. So I don't think that it should be something that's outlined because that's done all across the state of Florida. So that just would be a redundancy to me, because that is how it is already done. It's a practice more than just codified, like you said, but is there any importance on including it? What would be the importance of just outlining it in the charter versus it still being the practice we do?
That's a really good question. And so I will tell you, last week when we discussed this, we actually discussed including number 2, which is different than what we currently have. So number 2 is giving the mayor the ability to create committees, just so I can compare this to what exists now. So the council can create, or the commission can create committees, but in this instance, we would be giving the mayor the ability to create committees. And just so you know, every single commissioner would have a vote in terms of who sits on the commission, right? So it's not like this would be completely political and that the mayor gets to create a committee and then they get to choose all the folks who are on there. So we discussed that. It did not seem like there was a lot of appetite for that. And so I wanted to pull that one off, but still, I think that I agree in that we are operating like a manager commission, manager form of government, I see when I read this and when I looked at the city of Miami Gardens, I said, well, our mayor seems to be doing this. Why is it not codified in ours? And so, so for that, I wanted to have the discussion with you guys and figure out if there's an opportunity for us to change ours, if we should change ours. And unfortunately, we're running out of time, but I believe also a larger question could be, is there anything else that we should include that perhaps is not included right now? So I hope that answers your question.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
so I looked at this a little bit more. So in section 2-65, 1 is addressed and where it talks about the state of the city. I'm going to skip 2 since you're not interested in that anymore. But number 3, the mayor should be recognized as head of the town. It says here in your charter, it's 2.4, presiding officer, mayor, and it says, with the mayor, it shall be recognized as head of the city government for all ceremonial purposes and by the governor for purposes of military law. So that's already in there. And then number 4, that I think that this also 2.4 will address what I just read, will address 4. And then the contracts is the only one that I haven't gotten to yet, but I'll tell you in just a second how that is addressed, but I know it is addressed. And I think here, Candace is telling me that it talks about city manager contracts, which I think you want to leave it as it is, because what we see is that many of the grants and things require that like I said, your CEO, which would be your administrator, your manager, sign those things because they know that they're dealing with the day-to-day operations as opposed to the mayor. And in ours, specifically, it would be a charter change because it is section 3.3, where it talks about the duties of the manager. And right now it says that the manager executes contracts and other documents on behalf of the city as authorized by the commission. So I don't know that you necessarily want to change that. Now I'm not, I don't want to sound like I'm raining on the parade. I'm just trying to kind of have you all think in terms of if you're going to make changes, make things that you may want to make changes that are are going to be beneficial somehow, not just because it's your charter, right? So as much as you can, the way that you all streamlined before and you made the charter very simple in terms of what you're looking at right now, that's what you want to keep. That's the goal. You don't want a whole lot of stuff clouding up your charter if you can avoid it. You want to put as many things in your code of ordinances and things that, you can tweak if you needed to, not in your charter. So these things are, my point is they're addressed, right, already. And I don't know that unless you just want to make some change for the sake of just making it, that you need to make anything at this juncture because they're things that are already addressed.
okay. Board Member Edmondson?
Yes, Madam Chair, I would like to address the attorney that maybe I'm somewhat confused. This is a council manager.
Yes, ma'am.
Form of government right now.
Yes, it is.
And it is
Commission manager.
Commission, she says
manager.
council, but she
No,
mean
my
commission.
speaker was off too. He didn't hear me right.
Yes. She mean
So
commission.
currently, this is a council manager form of government.
That is correct.
Now, if you make it a council mayor form of government, that takes a lot of the authority away from the manager, the professional manager, correct?
It could, depending on what you have. And the way it reads, 1.3 of your charter reads, it says the municipal government provided by this charter shall be known as the commission manager government pursuant to its provisions and subject only to limitations imposed by the state constitution. By the charter, all powers of the city shall be vested in an elective council hereafter referred to as the commission, which shall enact local legislation, adopt budgets, determine policies, and appoint the city manager who shall execute the laws and administer the government of the city. All powers of the city shall be exercised in the manner prescribed by the charter, or if the manner be not prescribed, then such matter as may be prescribed by ordinance. So this allows for you to, if it's something that's not specifically addressed by the charter, it is addressed by ordinance, and that's consistent with other charters. Now, some of the things that you may be seeing and some of the other, like for instance, Miami Lakes. It doesn't show what year this was, but some of it may be, old language that they may have had for some period of time. And then, you're seeing it and thinking, well, maybe we'll pick it up. It's probably, if it's that specific, it's probably once they get around to making the changes that they would make, they're probably going to streamline theirs. We may be looking at, some older things. So I just want to point out that based on the form of government that you have, the things that you're talking about now, they're already there, right?
Madam Chair,
Okay, so let me,
please continue.
okay.
Yep.
So what I'm getting at, if you change it to the council mayor form of government, who would be over the of the staff?
Well, I don't
The
think she's
employees.
looking to change it. I don't think she,
But
I
then
think
you
she's
changed
just,
the
I
name,
think
you gotta
she.
change
I
it.
know that.
Can I
Just-
clarify?
I'm going-
I'd really love to
Anything
clarify.
happen?
Yeah, I'd really love to clarify. So I wouldn't be looking to change it to mayor commission. I'm looking to change it to mayor commission manager. The manager will continue to run the administrative duties. The mayor, their responsibilities would be outlined. The commission's responsibilities, I believe, would stay the same. But I think unfortunately, we've discussed this at different times, right? And I think unfortunately, we're running out of time. I think there are a lot of really great points that are being made up here. I think that it is going to be worth us digging into this a little bit deeper, a little bit further. I mean, Madam Attorney, I would love to have you continue to be involved in our meetings so that you can provide this guidance, because I know we've talked about it a couple of times. But ultimately, I think one of the missing pieces is that the document that you've been given, so this is updated, number one, but I think what is missing here is that you don't see how they're outlining each of the sections. So you see how they're outlining mayor, how they're outlining the vice mayor, if that makes sense. They're outlining commission and they're outlining the manager. Like that does exist in here. Unfortunately, what you have in front of you is just the mayor's responsibility. So there's a little bit of confusion that's happening here. So I'm not sure that we would be prepared to even vote on this today. It's great discussion, but we might want to defer this until, as we move forward, and hopefully the commission will vote to allow us to continue our service.
Well, Madam Attorney, you wanted to respond?
And no,
Okay,
it's
okay,
fine. But in our charter, we also have, certain responsibilities that are outlined by some of the, by the mayor, and we do have some things. It's not void of anything.
Yes.
I'm just thinking if you all were going to make changes, you probably want to look at, just things that are going to enhance what you're doing and not. So when you say we just want to codify it, that's what a lot of cities are getting away from. They're looking to try to put things in the code of ordinances to the extent that they can, and really make very bare bones the charter, because it's, it's something that takes a lot of effort to do in terms of changing it. Whereas if you find that all of a sudden, for some reason, because of emergency purposes, we had some tremendous hurricane, and the mayors are all really the people who are signing now and not the managers, and then you wouldn't be able to. You can change it by ordinance, but you wouldn't if it were in your charter, for instance. It's not something you'd be able to easily change, and vice versa if it were the manager or the mayor. So I'm just trying to state, I guess, if it's something that's really, really, really necessary, and I know sometimes maybe as members, you want to do something because you're thinking, well, we're here and we should be making changes, but that's not really, you all did that. Whoever was on this Charter Review Commission before, I think Commissioner Riley was, that's when you made these wholesale changes that were needed. But now that you have a, kind of a bare bones charter, to put something in it just to put it in it, you just may want to give, more consideration to, that's all. But in one last thing I'll say, I know you all want to continue your service, and you have up until a year after appointment. You don't have to do any special resolution or anything like that. I'm sure the commission will allow you to meet if you choose to meet. There's nothing that will prevent you from meeting. So if you all choose to continue meeting beyond the deadline for the clerk's deadline that she has to get this into the supervisor of elections office, I'm sure that will be just fine. So you're not, in that respect, you can continue, and the next time you have if you come up with some great ideas within that year, you can still put it on a future ballot.
Thank you, Madam Attorney, and thank you, Vice Chair Williams, and all of the input. My last comment on this issue would be that I understand, Vice Chair Williams, I understand the reasoning. I understand the reasoning why I would like to see it outlined. Maybe not, maybe we need to dig into it more to see how it would be done, because I've seen sometimes the mayor may be overlooked. You know, maybe not our current mayor, but I've seen in the past where sometimes people will go to the vice mayor rather than going to the mayor. Or, you know, so there are scenarios where and we know it to be true that everybody's not always on the same page. The mayor, the manager, they're not always on the same page. So there are times when people can kind of circumvent one person to go to another. So I could see putting the duties outlined. They still could do it if they wanted to, but at least you would have it outlined. I don't know whether now is the time that we have enough time to really look at it and see about, because anytime you talk about changing that name, mayor, commission, manager, people get nervous. You know, they get really nervous. So I agree with you, Board Member Williams, that we should look into it more. And if it's something that you want us to look at, then I think we should look at it, and then we should come to a conclusion as to a recommendation to give to the commission, because all it is a recommendation. Is up to them how they vote on it. But if it's something that you feel strongly about, you know, we will continue to look at it and see, is there changes that should be made. And also, I think I heard former Mayor Riley, Board Member Riley, say that he worked under the strong mayor, that you were a strong mayor when you
No,
were mayor,
no,
or
no.
it was a strong mayor before you became mayor.
There was a strong mayor prior to 1956.
Okay,
Prior to 1956, but 1985, the Charter Amendment created the office of the mayor for the city of Opa-locka.
okay. Hold that thought. Before you all created the office of the mayor, it was just one council.
Everybody ran as the city commissioner.
Oh, okay.
The highest vote getter became the
Came
mayor.
Okay.
The second highest, but they were all commissioners.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
But the 85 Charter Amendment created the office of the mayor. That's the only office, elective office we have in the city. We have elected body as a commission, but the office of mayor is the only office that there is. Okay, and you also have the city manager. Okay, the city manager is an officer, but the official office for the head of the city is that of the mayor.
And as the attorney said, that the duties are outlined in the body of
In the body and in the state statute and for municipalities, because we are a political subdivision of the state.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So with all of that being said, we are going to pass this document on to the city commission. It is my hope and prayer that they will accept the recommendation that we have given to them, and also that the residents and the voters of the community will also see the need to pass this amendment to the charter. One thing that I am concerned about, board members, is that maybe after going back and thinking about it for quite some time, that maybe we should have put it in 2 ordinance to give them a choice. To do one with just the salary by itself, and then another one with all 3 of them in it, because sometimes they're willing to increase a little bit now and not give you the full deal. So that is something that I thought about heavy, that we should have had more than one. They should have had a choice, that if they didn't like one, maybe they could go to 2. And I say that because when I went back the last time that it was on the ballot to vote for an increase, the reason why most people did not vote for it is because it had the deferred payment inclusive of giving them the increase. And if you look at it, it wasn't like a big no versus a big yes, you know. And I think if that deferred payment issue was not in there, that it might have passed. So I think that's something that we should, I hope the commission, we've already done it now. I don't know whether the, you know, what we can do to change it, but that is that's our recommendation to go before the board. But in thinking about it, I was thinking that we should have had a choice, give the voters a choice that they could choose.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir.
if I may, health reason kept me from here, but anytime you ask the public a question
Mhm.
and put more than one item in that question,
Mhm.
it fails.
Yeah,
Tell you right now, it fails.
I thought about
With the
that when I
public, you
went
can
back.
only, public, you ask them one question on one item, they'll deal with it. But if you go more than that,
Yeah, I thought
And
about.
because
that too.
I know that we've been trying to get an increase. Just think the county commission gets less money than the commission in Opa-locka does. Out of all these years, okay, I mean, it's, but you have to understand the government of America. American government was designed for rich people. It was not designed for working people.
Of course, that's why we're trying to help our commissioners, our form of government get an increase, because they do the work, you know, so.
So Madam Chair, I'm sorry.
So that's why I try to encourage us that are on the board. Don't look at the government that you have in place now and make a decision based on who's sitting there now. Make a real decision on what reality is, and just think if you were sitting there, or your son or your daughter, your family member, you know, would you want them to work for little or nothing? And I know sometime in being a former mayor, Riley, you can attest to this. Sometime you have a meeting 7 o'clock in the morning. Sometime you have a meeting again, 7 o'clock in the afternoon, 12 o'clock in the day. So if you have a job, you have to either not attend those meetings or try to work them around using your sick time or whatever time that you have on your job. And I don't think that's really fair. So I hope that we've made a good decision. I would like to break it down to 2, but it's already done now. So let us lobby. I shouldn't use the word
So-
lobby.
Madam
I
Chair.
shouldn't use the word lobby. Let us encourage.
Advocate.
There you go. Let us advocate for our government to come up, I think, to the 2022 is, I think that's all we're doing. That's all we're doing.
So Madam Chair.
Yes,
I-
ma'am.
I want us to be successful in this effort, right? And so we are still sitting here tonight. And so I wonder if it is worth us making a motion, because I think you all have made a lot of really good points, to split this resolution up into what could be, I hear you say 2 or 3 points. If we think that is going to be more successful at the ballot, then I would much rather us make that decision now versus us send this up to the commission and it goes on the ballot and it gets struck down. So I would,
Madam
like to
Chair, that's
open that up
exactly
for
what I was going to
discussion.
ask. So curious.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have anything against what she's saying. It's just that you've already voted. So you have to someone has to make a motion to rescind, and I don't know if they can once the meeting has started. And you've already discussed other matters. So I don't know, I'm asking the attorney.
Yes, please, Madam Attorney.
Okay, so you have voted on this, and this is what we prepared. But if you want to, I guess reconsider that vote, we'll be happy to start all over and prepare something different. So are you asking for this and something else? Or
No,
are you
ma'am.
asking for, what exactly would be the,
My thoughts were, and if it can't be done, I'm okay. Because I should have thought it through thoroughly from the beginning. My concern is that if we remove the, just have one that says that you agree to give the increase from 550 to 1,000. And keep all of the other wording except for the car allowance and the life insurance. And then the other one would be exactly what you have.
okay,
So they can vote yes on one, no on the other,
okay.
yes,
Okay, so that would be just a separate motion then. So if somebody wanted to make that motion and second that, then we'll prepare it, and you won't get to see it again, but we'll have it prepared just as you're saying, and we'll make sure that the commission gets both of them.
Okay, but they won't have to move to reconsider?
No, because she wants this to stay exactly as it is,
yes.
but have another one that
Oh,
will
okay,
just have
okay.
the salary increase only without the car allowance and without the life insurance.
I got it.
Yes.
Yes.
I see,
Well,
I see
Uh-huh.
a smile turned upside down here.
well, I guess my question was, would it make sense for us to present this as 2 or 3 items, right? So the first, when you talk about how it's presented to the voters particularly, and so I wonder if we can amend that in like a whereas clause. So ultimately what I'm asking for is that this be presented to the voters in 3 different sections. But if we have them vote on the compensation increase, we have them vote on the life insurance and or.
It would be different ordinances or different
Mm.
resolutions. It wouldn't be,
It would be 3.
yeah, well, you could, I guess, but
Oh, that sounds
so one would be whether you
Yeah.
want to give them life insurance, another one will be whether you want, but they're all separate documents is what I'm saying.
Yes.
It's not going to be,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
would be 3, it would be 3 different ordinances, amendments, but each one would say, do you want to give them the increase for the salary? Somebody might say, I think they should have life insurance. I don't think they should have a salary. But it would be 3 separate rather than just all into one.
okay. So what you need,
Madam Chairman, if
Can
you
we
had
hear-
said health and life insurance, maybe they would buy it. But life insurance by itself without health insurance, they ain't gonna buy that.
Huh?
And why wouldn't you want to supply all the other employees get health insurance? Why wouldn't you want to have health insurance?
Because I think, I felt I wanted health insurance, but the final document that we came up with, the language, more people thought that life insurance would be more because a lot of the commission don't really use the health insurance from the city. But like I said, you shouldn't base it on what's going on today. You should base it on what you think is right. But I think it should be 3. I would like for it to be 3 separate, Madam Attorney, Board Member Riley. Come on,
Somebody, do I think it should be 3 questions?
yes,
It should be 3 questions, but the way it is, what you all have approved,
mhm,
We can't go back and change it right now.
Yes, the attorney said that we could vote to amend because all it is a
I thought it was
recommendation.
addition, not.
It is a recommendation, but you have it all. Okay, but when I heard her, she said you were just separating out the compensation rather than all three of them together. But you're saying you'd rather have all three items differently and not together.
Yeah, it will be the same items that's in this one
Yes,
amendment, but it will be three amendments. So the
it'd be
people
three
can-
questions.
Yeah, three
questions.
questions, so they can vote on each one of the questions.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I get what you're saying, but I personally believe that if we're gonna keep it this way, let's keep it that way. And then that separate one that we will, if we get a chance to go ahead and add, should just be about the compensation. Because if they want the life insurance, they're gonna pick this one. If they want the monthly vehicle stipend, they'll pick this one. I
Okay.
think the
So
most
just take the
important to me
compensation
would be
and put it
just
by
the
itself.
compensation by itself, and then this as a whole. That's just for me.
Okay. Okay, any more, if not, I'm gonna ask the attorney, how do we proceed on doing that? And then let's do that, so.
So if you want, what I heard you say earlier is you want this to stay intact. So
Yes.
what you voted on and what we've done would stay.
Yes.
But you also want just one dealing with just compensation. And so you need a motion and a second for that, and then we'll create another document just for that, just for the compensation, without health and without life insurance and without the vehicle stipend.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I don't mean to throw a wrench into everything that's happening. I just want you to make sure you all have accurate information as you're making your decision. Because I just heard it said that the majority of the elected officials didn't take advantage of the health insurance.
Yes.
I just want to point out to the board that one of the reasons that this issue came before this board was precisely because the benefit that was most recently taken away from the commission was precisely health insurance. And several of the members of the commission had health insurance that was taken away because it was not, excuse me, it was not laid out in city ordinance at the time. And therefore it was taken away from the commission.
Okay, I got the wrong information because I was under the impression that most of them. So board, hearing that health insurance was one of the main issues. I don't know. I don't want to cause Madam Attorney, I don't want to cause
Well, Madam
more.
Clerk, could we just leave this one the way it is so we don't go back and having to rescind and do this and that? Can we just make one that would have compensation and health insurance or health and life insurance like they're suggesting? Or do we just leave as is and just do compensation by itself? Because ultimately, we do want to do what the people of the city want, and our commissioners and our mayor, they are the people. They are working for us, and if they're not looking for life insurance and it's health insurance, I'm sure those that will hold the seats in the future will look for the same thing, health insurance.
Madam Attorney, how much of
We will do whatever you all approve, so don't worry about us. We'll do our jobs.
okay, all right. Let's do this. Can someone give me a motion? And we'll vote it up or vote it down, a motion as to what would you all like to see on the ballot?
Madam Clerk, I motion to have an additional question presented where keep the commissioners moving from a $550 per month to $1,000 per month salary. Further, amending to provide for health and life insurance. but without the monthly vehicle stipend.
And do you want
That
this to
sounds
still
reasonable.
include? I'm sorry. Yeah, I wanted to find out, do you still want this to include after financial emergency is over, or do you want?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, you recording all the time?
No, I was going back to look at the YouTube. I'm trying to review Ward from the last one. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that, guys.
Nothing like a laugh,
I'm not as
man.
tech savvy as I thought I was.
Was there a
Board
second?
Member Riley, you were gonna second that motion or something?
Yeah, that is second motion.
Okay, Board Member Riley had second in between that little hiccup. You have it, Madam Attorney?
Yes, ma'am. I have you want legislation that will address health insurance and moving from $550 to $1,000 a month for the compensation. And also, but without a monthly vehicle stipend, and with and following 30 days after financial emergency is over.
Madam
So,
Chairman, we're combining the two, health and life insurance, health and life. Health and life insurance.
oh, so for the maker of the motion, you want a health and life, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Second by Board Member Riley.
Yes.
Okay, we've had a lot of discussion. I don't think we want to talk about it anymore. Do we want to talk about it anymore, board members? No? Okay,
Roll call.
Mr. Clerk.
Board Member Riley,
Yes.
Board Vice Chair Williams,
Yes.
Board Member Fenn,
Yes.
and Board Chair Russell.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Is anyone else on for, because if we talk some more, we're gonna come up with something else.
Nobody.
Nobody? We're gonna open public comment. There's no one on for public comment. We're gonna close public comment and am I missing here? Oh, next agenda item. We're asking, we're going to continue, Mr. Clerk. So can you see when another date is available for us after August?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is going to the commission in July for 2 readings, right? It has to have 2 readings. So that would be both of the meetings in July. And if you would please contact each board member to please get us to come out and to speak to the commission during that time. And then for August, you can look for a date for us, okay?
Yes, so that first meeting is on July 13th at 7 PM. And assuming that it remains an ordinance, then yes, it would appear on the agendas for both of the meetings in July, unless it is changed to a resolution, as was spoken about earlier. You all at the last meeting had also mentioned, because the city commission does not meet in August, that you would consider not meeting in August as well and move your next meeting to perhaps one time in September. Is that accurate?
Yes, whatever follows the pattern.
Okay. And we'd like to keep it on a Thursday. So either the 2nd or 4th Thursday in September would be September 8th or September 22nd.
That's a long time away from you.
I'm fine with either.
Yes, either one is good for me. I think I would prefer the end of August. I know I have some things in the beginning of August, but
You mean in
hold-
September?
I mean, strike that.
You said, huh? Yeah, I thought it was after August. that you were
Yes,
asking for, right?
So 65.
So Chris, after August, we can work that out
After
later.
August,
So we'd be looking at Thursday,
Trick
September
question.
22nd at
Chris, I
6
think
p.m.
we can probably work it out later.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
We have plenty of time,
okay.
sure.
okay?
Thank you all so much, so much, so much, so much. Motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Beautiful. Second? Bye.
Second.
Meeting is adjourned.